Hey, we're back. A couple of big updates since the last time I recorded. Music Day is solely whatever Alan's playing in the background. Hopefully, I am not hurt. I believe since the last time I did one of these, I'm enrolled to go to WashU. I have not yet paid my security deposit, or seat deposit as they call it. Who knows how this is going to play out. In terms of overall vision for myself, it used to be the exact wording was to be physically comfortable, live to 77, and be comfortable and healthy and maximize the percentage of those in the community around me able to do the same. Now, it's more specifically, I want to apply legal and engineering and public policy knowledge to benefit the sustainability, equity, and safety of this and interconnectability of the St. Louis region in a way that can play a role as a model in pushing the world itself towards those more sustainable, equitable solutions. And how am I going to do that? I foresee at least 4 different careers for me. And will I do this alone? No. I would be happy to play a more helpful role. These are really the goals I want to see done. And if someone else can do these better than me, I am happy to take a step back. And if someone needs my help to get into a position where they can then do these things better for me, I'm happy to help. I'm not there for credit. I'm not there at all in the literal sense right now, but I'm not trying to do these things to get my name on a poster or anything. I just want to see positive results because the state of the world fundamentally upsets me. And it upsets a lot of liberals, but despite that, liberals are tendency-wise way more depressed. And the causation of that, one of the issues is that liberals are more active on social media, for young liberals, and that plays a role in it. I've read a paper that says that's the primary reason. But then once again, that comes back to being more informed about the world will make you more depressed. Because regardless of how accurate social media is, it's being more informed, not about the world, but in general, seems to be making you more depressed. If liberals are always more depressed, and being more active on social media makes you more depressed. Because it might not be educational, but it's definitely informative. You're picking up something about society and the internet. No, there's a brief period of time where there was internet culture, and then the internet was the culture, and now we're so siphoned and splintered, we are losing the culture. Of course, that term refers to a specific aspect of what has always been a subculture that people have appropriated from in the story of our history. And so all these terms, I think one of the reasons why you get a higher level of political dialogue in Europe is because you have different languages all interconnecting and with their own internal histories kind of expanding out. And so, in order to have those cross-cultural, cross-language dialogues, you need to really finalize and pigeonhole yourself a little bit into a specific term and get clear definitions of what each of those terms means, because it's difficult enough going in one language, imagine going across multiple. And so to have multiple national governments, not devolved powers set up so closely, I think really forces a whole host of greater intellectual achievement over the past 100 years. And then, whereas in America, you had this sort of Puritan individual work ethic that education for education's sake was, and art for art's sake, were not fully embraced in the way you had movements responding to the horrors that they were witnessing in Europe form, in the way that there was an appreciation of peace and democracy that waned a little bit in America due to the emphasis on religious life and primarily rural parts. I mean, we had temperance and prohibition, for God's sake, which caused the extinction of grape varietals, I learned on my trip to Herman with Sophie. Anyway, so 2 things we're going to do in today's episode, 3, actually. And besides this little introduction, recap of what's been going on. I'm going to answer some of these 28 daily questions to ask yourself, see how those change. I think this is a different one. Maybe there's some overlap with the other videos where I recorded this. Maybe there's not. Who knows? I'm going to sing a couple songs I've made, and I'm going to examine the student debt forgiveness case, and if I remember in time for that segment, another Supreme Court case, both under the framework of American law and comparatively under the Constitution of Donatopian law, of Donatopia, and that legal system, which of course has to imagine what the acts passed would have looked like. So what am I grateful for today? I'm grateful that the sun was shining. It was very nice out. What is the main task do I need to accomplish today? I want to upload this video, or I should probably look up influence lines, and I should get a good night's sleep. What is my main intention today? Survive. What affirmation can I live by today? Always try, never care. It's never stopped being a good one, even when I for say suck it. What am I feeling this morning? Tired. That's what I was feeling this morning. What went well today? Being at hello was a good time. What could have gone better today? My test. What challenges did I overcome today? Falling asleep during my test. What changes can I make tomorrow? Cleaning my room. How would I want to wake up tomorrow? Rested. What can I do today to bring me closer to my purpose? Submit my tax forms, doing this reading exercise. I talked to my mom about paying my security deposit. How can I show up today for others? Oof. I ate Kevin's mac and cheese for him. What would the person I want to become do today? Go to a city council meeting? I don't freaking know. What's one thing I can do today that scares me? Leave my apartment again? What's something I need to let go of in my life? We're going to refrain from answering this. What is something that I need to do more of in my life? These videos, I think. You're welcome. Which makes me feel unfulfilled in my current life. What do I kind of do to change it? I'm going to skip this one. What skill would I like to master? Smiling. What lesson can I learn from this situation? Don't let it happen again. That's what it just says, this situation. How can this negative experience be reframed as a positive? I've learned what not to do in this situation. Deep questions. What's one thing I would do if I knew I could not fail? Write a book and get it published. That's lame. I've wrote Hunger. Is obviously the easy one. Create a democratic world state. I mean, that's not even like me. I just don't think I'm ready for anything I want to do yet. Like, I don't know if I would be the best. I don't know if I will be the best, and I know that I would not be the best right now. I don't know. Run for mayor of Allah. That maybe I could do. I loved doing most as a child. Reading, running around, playing pretend. What is my why? Gotta do something. What makes my soul happy? Waking up early, feeling rested. With the year to live, what would I focus on? Sustainability. I think that could be a good narrative that could actually help me do something. Specifically in the St. Louis region, I would really strive to make something happen on the sustainability bike front. And solar panels, well, not parks, my type of stuff. What is my biggest regret? 2022. Oh, where do I feel most happy and free? My bedroom back home. Outside my old neighborhood. I should go for a walk there sometime. I really should. Will people make me feel most like myself? My brothers, me, on these cameras. Anyway, whipping in the cold. Got my hair turning into icicles. Walking through the cold for y'all. Whipping, cool whip. Quick with the quips, quick wit. Quick with the feet, quick foot. Quick with the feet through the streets for y'all. Quick with the feet through the streets for y'all. Quick with the feet through the sleep. That's all. I'm walking in the cold, whipping in the cold. Got my hair turning into icicles. Walking in the cold for y'all. Got walking in the cold for y'all. Whipping in the cold for y'all. Walking in the cold for y'all. Whipping in the cold for y'all. Whipping out my nose for y'all. Nipping at my nose. For y'all, got my hair turning into icicles. Walking in the cold for y'all. Whipping in the cold for y'all. Whipping in the cold. That's all. It's just a little something. It was cold and I was walking. I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's not even the whole song. Need some more. Who are you when you're alone? What do you do when no one's home? Who are you when you're alone? What do you do when no one's home? I'm a guy who sings in monotone, but who are you when you're alone? Who are you when you're alone? I like to pretend I sing in tune. I like to pretend I hear you singing too. What stories do we tell ourselves? What lies do they preserve our mental health. My mind's racing, so I'm pacing back and forth. My mind's pacing, so I'm racing back and forth, dancing up and down the living room. The spirals in my head, tracing circles with my feet. Yours a smile, gotta stay upbeat. Need some fresh air, go out by the street. But who are you when you're alone? What do you do when no one's home? Inside these four walls, we only got a few inches in which to roam. So who are you when you're alone? What do you do when your brain is ringing like a telephone? But all the voices on the line are your own. Yeah, who are you when you're alone? What do you do when no one's home? And then there's Romantic Autumn Fall Together. But that's a little jingle I made. And I'll remember the words later and sing them later, but I don't feel like doing it right at this exact moment. So finally, we're into the cool part of the video, the law part of the video. So, the other big case I was going to look at was the affirmative action one. Okay. So, when it okay, when it comes to the student debt forgiveness case, I think it's pretty obvious. It says any waive or modify. It says notwithstanding, and it has specific languages saying it doesn't need to be case by case. You can minimize burden. There's past examples of it being brought before, and all these debts are essentially that we're talking about are things owed to the federal government. There are no funds being appropriated, and then they just commonly not. I don't really think there's much of a ground to stand on. And speaking of standing, I don't think because the state sued and none of those separate crediting agencies sued themselves, I don't see how they have standing. I don't see how two people not being helped by a law have standing to prevent that law from going into effect. Though I think it is a good point that giving extra money to Pell people. I mean, maybe I could see an argument there that the Pell part of the proposal is in no way relevant to the actual situation. And so it'd be a little bit silly to include that. I can see maybe that being a case that comes up. Once again, I don't think that person has standing to say they were harmed by the inclusion of that provision. But you can also frame it as their exclusion from that provision. And that's an interesting case that I'd have to take longer to look into. But from the American law perspective, once again, I just don't see how you don't allow that sort of debt forgiveness to go through, unless you also retroactively again go back and say several other actions of it were a violation as well. And you see sort of credit agencies wanting this forgiveness to go through. I'm just checking. But essentially, Mohila didn't sue. The state sued on their behalf, and they have an independent entity that, if they felt such violation, could sue student debt amicus briefs. Yeah, and the other states are all worse than Missouri's claim. So just understanding, the suit should just be dropped. It is a travesty of justice from standing perspectives if they let those cases stand. Now, let's take a quick look at the Donatopian Constitution and its implications. So, first, you will see education is one of the named areas that the House of Commons could pass a law on. So, I think pretty clearly, that responsibility is meant to be about curriculum. However, I don't think any law could I don't think anyone could potentially say that setting up a student thing to pay for university is crazy. Though, of course, on the non-token constitution, for a secondary education post high school is a right of students. So charging them for it runs into problems right away, but doesn't necessarily preclude loans for education expenses. So this law could exist. Populations have a right to basic subsistence food. Yep, populations have a right to a full education from secondary and college. So that they have a right to college, but doesn't mean there aren't costs. I don't think that means there can't be costs associated with it. I don't think cost can't be a barrier to education. I don't think that necessarily forbids future payments. So I don't think there can be a fee, but I think potential future garnishing of a percentage of earnings as the structure could exist. And so some sort of no interest debt, essentially. Or, yeah, whatever. Like, however you make of it, it could exist. That would be its own case on its own. But there could be other education-related expenses that are settled, offered in the form of loans as well. Education is primarily the state's responsibility. So, I think essentially a law could be created that creates a loan program, and a separate law could be created that enables the executive to, in certain circumstances, make changes to the application of that law without explicit statutory reapproval. So say we had the text for about the emergencies. Once again, with that text, I just don't think there's any debate, even in this different framework, where there are actually, what's interesting is that it specifically states that states have to collect taxes. And the national government ability to collect taxes is based on the ability to regulate banks, which once again could be structured into this loan program. And we can take money from states. We have a right to do all sorts of things. And we can also have state-run businesses, but those cannot consistently operate at a loss or receive tax money. So it would have to simply weather a loss if the income was through there. But it doesn't have to make a profit. So actually, there are some barriers to withdrawal, but there is nothing that requires the government, the national government. Actually, it gets tricky. The national government can't turn down taxes. It would have to be structured as a reimbursement back to the individuals, ultimately, not a forgivement of what they're due. I'm gonna re-examine this question further. Affirmative action. All people are going to share in these rights and protections under Donatopian law. I don't think there's anything in that prevents retroactive affirmative action. This has not been the most well-argued legal debate, but it's a very interesting concept, so I hope to continue in a future video. Was sonst? Ich habe ein ein gutes deutsches Buch gelesen. Es heißt Gehen, Gegangen. Und ja, ich muss gehen.